everybody. Okay, welcome. I'm so glad you're here, hanging by a thread. I'm Dana. So today we're in my kitchen. And I'm having kind of a wild Celtic hair thing going on today. I really can't handle it. I can't deal with it. But I also thought maybe you didn't want to see it up in a ponytail. But anyway, I've been doing a lot of reading. I'm trying to get out of constantly focusing on, shall we say, the real world and news and politics. Get that out of my consciousness. It is totally messing with me. And I need to bring myself back into center. And the thing that always reduces my blood pressure, always brings me into a real sense of just, I don't know, peace, if you will, is knitting. And then I started going back through my knitting books, and I went to the very first knitting book I ever bought. I'll tell you how I came to knitting. It was not easy, and it was through tears and screams and frustration. I started out embroidering. I loved, as a kid, the idea of drawing with yarn, threads, fibers, whatever. And I did lots of embroidery. First thing I ever did was, if I could find it, I would show you. We had a Pekingese, and I found a piece of burlap, honest to God, and I had some cruel embroidery yarns from something else, or maybe even given to me. And I did my Pekingese on this thing, and I think I actually won a ribbon for it at school, but whatever. I always like to do things like that. I love to draw. I love to make paper dolls and do all their clothes and stuff like that. Well, my great Aunt Mary taught me how to crochet, and I first began to crochet only doing lace. I love lace. I love all kinds of lace. I love to make it. I love to see it. I love lace, all right? So I just went nuts with lace crochet. And I'm talking for years. I did this until I was like 25. That's all I did. Lace crochet, lace crochet, lace crochet. I did tablecloths. I did curtains on commission. I did an altar cloth. I've done I've just done all kinds of lace, all right? So I got hired at a yarn store in 1983, I guess, as the resident crocheter, because none of the knitters there could crochet, and there would be people that would come in and have, needs. So I was hired. The problem came was when I was in the store all by myself, and a knitter would come in with a problem. I was rubbish. Oh my God, all right? So that was awful. I had to learn to knit ASAP. I kind of felt like my job depended on it. Plus, I always wanted to learn to knit, and I was working at a yarn store. Oh my gosh, right? Well, I tried, and I tried, and I tried, and I can teach myself to do anything. And so far, I've taught myself to do every kind of handwork. I fail miserably with tatting with a shovel. That's how it feels. If I'm sitting next to someone who's showing me how to tat, I can do it like that, not a problem. I can get in my car, drive home with the shuttle in my hand without ever moving. And as soon as I get home and I go to do it, it knots. I can needle tat, love to needle tat. I just agree to disagree with the tatting. I love it, love it, love it. It's not in my repertoire. But anyway, back to this. So I was having the worst time trying to teach myself, and there was no one at the store who was, I don't know, I guess just not the right teacher for me, right? Some people, it takes many voices to tell one thing, so I didn't find any voice that resonated and made sense. it did occur to me that if I stopped thinking about it as it's just like crochet, but with 2 sticks, then it might be easier. And about the time I had that big aha, we got this book in the store, and this book is Knitting Without Tears by my guru, Elizabeth Zimmerman. Knitting Without Tears, someone wrote a book. Oh my God, this was exactly me. Oh, my cats had so many toys. I would try and knit, things would happen, I would get frustrated, I'd cut it and I'd throw it, and the cats loved it. Well, this book, and the aha that I can't think about it as if it's also like crochet, turned the tables for me, and I got it, and I have been an obsessed knitter ever since. I do some crochet, but I knit. Knitting is, that's just it. I knit. I prefer to knit lace. Big surprise, right? But all right. So what I decided to do recently was to reread Elizabeth's book. So there's Knitting Without Tears. These are the ones I have. Knitter's Almanac. Brilliant. Her writing is so casual, not even casual, but it's soothing. I don't know what else to say. It's just like sitting with, and this is no disrespect to her age, of course she's passed now, but there's a sense of reverence and quietness when you sit with, granted some people can be younger and you feel this way, but generally for me, I find that, I find it more in older women, because it's like, I got this. There's, at some point you say, I'm not giving my energy to, just willy-nilly out there. I'm trying to get to that point myself at 56 years old, and I'm better than I used to be. But there's just something, I don't know, familiar with reading her books. She talks a lot about herself and her husband, the gaffer, and the things that they do and their quiet way of life. She's very funny. I like that too. Okay. And then she did a series of things for PBS and then had her own knitting workshop video, which has a lot of very detailed stuff. Elizabeth is all about, and I feel I'm this way too, especially when I'm teaching. It's not brain surgery. I'm sorry, it really isn't. It can be dangerous if you're working on multiple needles and children come running to get in your lap. Okay, so that aside. It's also, there's nothing new. She says as long as there have been, since the time of sheep, the beginning of sheep and 2 sticks, people have knitted. And that is true of spinning and weaving as well. So no one is really inventing anything new. But they're bringing, I believe, they're bringing part of themselves to this craft. They're bringing a part, you put yourself into things that you do with your hands. Literally, DNA. Oh my God, the DNA all over quilts I've ever quilted. Yeah. By the way, your own personal spit will get blood stains out. All right, not on large crime scene areas, but on a quilt or something like that. So I got lots of DNA in all my quilts. But you do. I truly believe, and there's a spiritual aspect to handwork, and for me, I feel this connection to the divine feminine, the spirit of women, our foremothers, if you will. Yes, men do all of this as well, but it has historically been called women's work. And I believe, sadly, that so much of it the baby got thrown out with the bathwater with the women's liberation movement, which I benefited from all of that. I rode right on the crest of that wave. I was in high school in the 70s, and all that stuff had been, turned around in the 60s. So I definitely benefited. I mean, I say I love the 70s. But it was absolutely not cool to be feminine. What does feminine mean? To look feminine is one thing. To be drawn to traditional women's, ideas or abilities, or, being a mother, staying home and raising your own children, being responsible for your own family. All of that stuff became a negative. All that stuff became almost demonized, and there is no need for mommy wars, and I cannot believe that still goes on in 2013. Shame on all women who do that. That's ridiculous. The whole idea of having choices, you have a choice, and all choices should be honored. That's being said by a woman who spent 17 years homeschooling her children for educational reasons. I believe that children, human beings, should be encouraged to explore and learn in their own ways, and that when allowed to do that, knowledge, is multiplied 100 times. And all three of my kids are, fabulous, successful, happy, wonderful, contributing members of society. Thank you very much. Anyway, I love the idea of technology and the internet now, where we can come together, not necessarily just as women, but as like-minded people who get the heart, the head, and the hands aspect of handwork. That it's it can be more than just knitting a pair of socks, or knitting a blanket, knitting washcloths, whatever. That there's the possibility that there is a deeper connection to everyone else that is doing the same thing. That's what kind of excites me about it. And we can find each other in ways that couldn't be done before. It's very hard to get a knitting group together. Everyone is working. Everyone's exhausted when they come home. If you've got children and you've been gone all day and then you come home, your family has to take priority. And that's exhausting. But this way, we can have a back and forth. We can be together. We can be silly. We can be irreverent within the same kind of sense of love of craft, right? So what I would love to know is, who inspires you? Who do you consider your mentor? Who taught you? Did you teach yourself? Are you your own mentor? Love that. So go to my blog, which is called Hanging by a Thread. Address is danaschultz.wordpress.com. And let us know. Share with us who your mentor was. It could be someone famous like Elizabeth Zimmerman. It could have been your great Aunt Mary. It could have been a book you picked up at the library, whatever. And not just for knitting, spinning, embroidery, handwork in general, right? Get back to me. Thank you so much for visiting, and we'll chat soon. Bye.